It should have never happened. Legally, Seing-Hui Cho should have been barred from ever purchasing a firearm, but somehow, with cold precision, he slipped through the cracks, armed with 2 handguns and a mind unraveling in silence. The horror he unleashed on April 16, 2007 at Virginia Tech was not just a failure of intervention or mental health support, it was the result of a deep and deadly administrative blind spot, carved open by bureaucratic miscommunication, systemic indifference, and a loophole that became a chasm. In 2005, 2 years before the massacre, a Virginia special justice declared Cho an imminent danger to himself as a result of mental illness. This should have triggered a red flag in the national background check system, disqualifying him under federal law from buying any firearm. But it didn't. Why? Because Virginia, like many other states at the time, did not consistently report individuals who were ordered into outpatient mental health treatment to the federal background check database, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. And Cho, he was never institutionalized, not in the way the system understood it. When a Montgomery County judge ordered Cho to undergo outpatient treatment rather than commit him to a mental hospital, that legal phrasing made all the difference. The court's language categorized him as needing treatment, but not necessarily as being adjudicated mentally defective, which is the threshold used by federal law to deny a firearm purchase. The Virginia State Police, which was the agency responsible for forwarding such rulings to NICS, took a narrow interpretation. Only those committed to a mental institution or judged mentally incompetent with accompanying hospitalization were to be reported. So Cho's name never made it into the database. It was an eerie loophole, one that left no digital footprint in Cho's background check. So when he walked into a pawn shop on February 9, 2007, and again into Roanoke Firearms a month later, he passed the NICS check both times. There were no alarms, no red flags. The system responded with silence. Approved. And Cho, a man who had been deemed dangerous by a judge, who wrote blood-chilling rants and stalked female classmates, walked out with a Walther P. 22 semi-automatic pistol, followed by a Glock 19, both bought legally, both under $600, tools of mass death, bought with no resistance. The revelation after the massacre sent shockwaves through the country. The public learned horrified that mental health records weren't reliably or uniformly reported to NICS, especially not outpatient orders like Cho's. Even worse, many states didn't submit any mental health records at all. By 2007, over 20 states had submitted fewer than 100 names to the federal system. Several submitted none. In response, the federal government scrambled to close the gaping holes. In January 2008, President George W. Bush signed the NICS Improvement Amendments Act into law. It was designed to incentivize and compel states to more accurately report mental health records to the National Background Check System. The law also provided funding to improve state-level systems and clarified that outpatient treatment orders like Cho's did qualify under federal law to prohibit firearm purchases if the records were properly reported. Virginia, for its part, swiftly changed its laws. Within months, the state began transmitting mental health adjudications, including outpatient orders, to NICS. Other states followed suit, though unevenly. The federal government offered grants to encourage compliance, but participation varied. A decade after the massacre, many loopholes had narrowed, but not all had closed. Cho was a ghost in plain sight, known to school counselors, therapists, and judges, but invisible to the one system meant to stop him. His ability to legally acquire firearms was not due to a single glitch, but rather a slow, collective failure of interpretation, reporting, and accountability, a failure measured in 32 innocent lives. In the end, it wasn't just what Cho did that haunts history. It's what the system didn't do, what it couldn't do, because no one made sure it could. And through that silence, he walked into Norris Hall, locked the doors, and became the deadliest school shooter in American history.